In 2012, 2013, the Pew Research Center released new statistics about the Hispanic Latino population, stating that this population nearly doubled in size between the years 2000.
Yeah, look at that. Her social media videos address some of the biggest issues impacting Chicago's Latino community right now. She touches on everything from immigration to Latino representation to some of our history, right? Although some may consider those topics somewhat controversial, she has amassed a huge following. And joining us now to talk a little bit more about the videos and herself is Chicagoan Jackie Priego. Talk about the role also that social media is playing in the conversation about immigration. ¿Cómo estás? How are you?
Muy bien, gracias. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Very good. I love it. I love it. And I love that you're here because you're such a good representation of not just our community, but being a Chicagoan, right?
Oh, definitely. First generation. Well, I'd like to say 1.5.
1.5?
My parents, their parents immigrated here and they came as children.
Okay.
So 1.5 generation.
Okay, that's
Chicagoan.
a good one. I love it. I love it. And you have such an interesting story because I met you, gosh, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe?
Yes.
You were working on Pink Slipped,
Yes.
which you wrote yourself. So explain to folks sort of your background and your story.
Definitely. I am a writer and director that focuses on Latino stories and the importance of telling those stories. One of the things that I was most passionate about was talking about Latina Equal Pay, which will land on, I believe, October 8th this year. And that was my passion project, writing the story about 3 Latina best friends in Chicago, all professionals who all lose their jobs ultimately in the web series. And it really catapulted me into the Hollywood scene. Before I knew it, I was speaking to CAA and was being represented by CAA. I spoke at the Sundance Film Festival at their inaugural Latinx House. And then COVID happened in 2019. And what we saw is that Latino voices really got shut out of the entertainment industry. We do have the Pedro Pascals and the Jenna Ortegas of the world that are doing incredible work, but as writers, directors, people behind the scenes with ownership in that work, we don't really see our projects being greenlit. So it was a natural progression for me to pivot into social media, to continue talking about those issues that impact my community on a national level. But now we're seeing, especially right now in Chicago, on a local level, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook are where Latinos really thrive. They are the demographic with the highest numbers of active users on those platforms. So it's WhatsApp, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Latinos, Hispanic people, we outnumber other ethnic groups in usage.
I think that's so interesting because I feel like Latinos are really connecting to their story, and it's what you're telling me on social media.
They are. They are, because we haven't had that type of autonomy or ownership of our stories. And so, yes, there isn't really the glitz or glamour. As you saw in that clip, I'm in bed. I don't have
But
hair.
you look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. I don't have hair or makeup. It's not high production, but it's coming from the soul. It's talking about the Pew Research Center's information and data that pertains to our community and how that impacts us today. What was done with those statistics, and maybe trying to understand why our community is in the position that it is today. And it's not all negative. The beauty in statistics and numbers and getting those out to the general public through TikTok, through other social media platforms, is that you're empowering your community. You're showing them their self-worth.
To have the receipts.
To have the
data.
Receipts, to understand that U.S. Latinos, we have a GDP in this country of over $4 trillion. If we were our own country, if U.S. Latinos were our own country, we would be the 5th largest economy in the world, outpacing India, France, the UK. Like, that is the power in our numbers. The beauty of social media is that for so long, we've only been seen as consumers in this country. and as laborers in this country, but we haven't had any real power. You see that shift happening with someone like Senator Karina Villa, who is going social media, TikTok viral right now for alerting her community about potential raids and informing the community about their rights. You see people like Congressman Joaquin Castro from Texas also doing that same work of educating through social media. And that's what's so important, is that we need to take back our power. We need to be able to communicate. And here we have these tools, which hopefully, we'll have for many more years to come, and are able to use as freely as we do today to get those messages out. And I think that's why my posts tend to go viral, because we haven't heard our community members use this information in this way. I think it's really beautiful on Facebook seeing Latina mothers having their own Facebook chat rooms and sharing information about the start of school, and sharing their fears and their hopes for their children.
And it's so important to have that connection and that network with people
community
who feel like they can connect, that they're like you, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the different issues that you've been touching on.
Yes.
Just recently, I was listening to a podcast where it was a woman who was alerting. It wasn't Karina Villa, but it was a woman out of, I think it was LA or Phoenix, alerting people when these raids were happening and going there and shooting video.
Yes.
And that led her to go viral and then be on all these different podcasts. Are those the types of videos that you're doing, or what specifically? Give me a couple of examples. We saw one there, but what's another one that maybe has gotten some really interesting attention?
Well, another viral moment was, I believe it was a restaurant in Texas, or no, in Arizona, Manantiel, where the owners of that restaurant, Latinos, were very, pro-Trump supporters. And a lot of the community, they want to know. There's this stigma about who you voted for in this last election. And now people that are going out to these restaurants, or small businesses, they want to know, where did you land with this last election? And so there are these viral moments. So I did a post on what's the Manantiel of Chicago? Where did people stand, and who should we be supporting? I've been going to Los Comales, a Totonilco.
Oh, that's interesting,
Different
to get their
restaurants,
takes.
to get their takes, and also to support their businesses, because right now, you see Little Village, you see 26th Street, or in Pilsen, 18th Street. They feel like ghost lands, right? There isn't as much pedestrian traffic. And so if I can lend a voice to those establishments that are very pro-community, pro-immigrants, then why not?
You're helping.
Right.
Okay, so if people want to find you on TikTok, on Instagram, where do they go?
Prego Time.
Prego Time,
It's my
como la
last name.
pasta.
Exactly.
All right, Prego Time. You can find her, and I'll post her links on my page as well. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
All right.